First book, 120 Ways to Achieve Your Purpose with LinkedIn. The second one, 120 Ways to Attract the Right Career or Business. And the third one, 120 Ways to Market Your Business Hyperlocally. They're all available at the stand next to the stage. So we're going Facebook Live, so hi to everybody on Facebook. It's my first live video on Facebook, and I believe it's the first one coming from the SpotJobs Career Expo today. So if you haven't been able to join us today in Facebook land, please come and join us tomorrow between 10 and 4. So I'm going to run through my top 20 tips for LinkedIn, and I really think that you really have to start off with a fantastic photograph. And it doesn't have to be a professional photo, it just really needs to be a photo that reflects your purpose. So one of my clients has actually got a photograph of herself with sunglasses on and hair across the face, but she's an artist, so it really fits in. Another one had a guitar in his photograph, and that actually, he picked up guitar gigs because he had a guitar in his LinkedIn photo. And 70% of the population is visual, so when they look at a profile, they're going to check out that photo and say, would I like to work with this person, would I like to do business with this person? So it's really important. Can be edgy, can be unusual. The main focus should be on your eyes, because that's what people do business with, and that's how they decide whether they like you. They look at you in the eyes. And it's really great if you can smile with your teeth showing. Don't worry if they're not perfect teeth. People still really like people who smile. The next thing that I try and focus on, as was mentioned in the panel interview before, is your keywords. So the number one key search criteria for people to find you on LinkedIn is your number of shared connections. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll get access to 8,000 more shared connections. And that will be the main criteria for you coming up in search results. The second one is the keywords in your headline. So if you put your keywords in your headline and have them all around what the target audience that you want to attract to your profile is looking for, then they can actually come in and find your details. You need to put the most important words first. So you've got 120 characters, so really put the most important ones at the beginning of that list. And if you've got some room left over, put something in that's memorable. I mean, I've looked through thousands of resumes and LinkedIn profiles in my career, and let me tell you, they all start to look very much the same after a while. So if you put something a little bit unique in there, that can make it a little bit more memorable. The next thing is your summary. So the photo, headline and summary are the three main things on your LinkedIn profile, and your summary really should be aligned with what you want to do now and your future. So you can, in my profile it's got a little bit of a bio if people want to introduce me, but it's really about what I can offer to the people who want to do business with me. And I include my contact details, my mobile phone number written in international format, I include my email address but with spaces around it so the spam robots don't send loads of emails to me. It really needs to be easy to read and to understand, so dot points are a lot easier because people generally look at LinkedIn by scrolling, and also make sure that people know what to do when they look at that summary information. The fourth one is to change your public profile URL. So that's about just underneath your photograph on the left-hand side, you can personalize it. So LinkedIn gives you an automatic URL, but you can change that to your actual name. So I really encourage you to change it to your name, or if your name's not available, perhaps add on a number at the end of it, because that will help you come up in Google search results as well, because it will be optimized more for your name if you've changed that public profile URL. If you change it to something and then you decide, I want to change it to something else, you can never go back to what it was previously. So try and think, this is what I want it to be from now on, and keep it that way. And then you can include that URL on your email signature, on your phone, on your normal computer, on your business card, and so people can connect with you on LinkedIn. So even if you don't have a website, they can still connect with you via LinkedIn. The next thing is your job title for each of the jobs that you've had in the past. So even if you're a student and you've only ever had sort of voluntary work, it doesn't matter. You can still put the keywords of the job. So you might have been, checkout at Woolies or something, but if you actually talk about some of the keywords related in that job after your title, checkout, dash, admin, training, all those other words that were revolved around that job, that can also help you come up in search results. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you see I've optimized it for the words LinkedIn and training, and those words appear frequently throughout my profile in my job titles. You can do it in your current job title and your past job titles, But whatever you do, don't ever lie on any part of your LinkedIn profile. I definitely don't recommend that. You also need, in the actual experience section, to include really useful information. So when people read it, they can identify your transferable skills that they can see you applying in the current role that you're looking for, or if you the current business opportunities that you're seeking. So I normally try and suggest that for every job, even if it's a really well-known employer, you describe the organisation so people know that Westpac was the first bank in Australia, and so on and so forth. Give a little bit of a clue. And then I just suggest that you include your tasks that you've done in that job, all in past tense if they're past jobs, and then your achievements, and then the website address of that employer. Now that link will not be clickable on a laptop or a desktop computer, but on a mobile phone, it will allow the person to click straight through to that website and check out the organisation as well. In your education section, you can actually fill in all of the subjects that you did in your qualification. And one of the examples I like to use is the topic of business ethics, because when I did business ethics in my university degree, it didn't include the words of governance and risk and so on, but in the title of the subject, but those were components of the subject. So if you want to optimise your LinkedIn profile for topics within a subject of your qualifications, you can say topics included and put those keywords in there as well, and that's going to help you. By the way, I'm also going to make these slides and an audio recording available, so if you want to have access to that, please fill out your little slips and just pop your first name and email address, and I'll send these details through to you. You can also, in your education section, include non-university courses. So even if you do something at TAFE, if you do a weekend course, you can also include that in your education section. And as I said before, include the topics within subjects if you really want to optimise around those as well. In the skills and endorsements section, you can type something in and see if it's listed in the database. And if you choose options that are already listed in the database, that is again going to help your LinkedIn profile. And the top 10 should be the ones that you really want to focus on in your future. So really encourage you to put the top 10 there. If you want to specialise an area, the most skills I'd suggest you have is 20. But if you want to be more general and do lots of other things, your purpose is different, then I'd suggest that you go for the whole 50 that you can have in that section. And yeah, use that to your advantage. You also need to try and secure 6 or more recommendations from your past roles, because LinkedIn looks at the profiles and says, all right, well, if this person's got 6 recommendations and this person's got none, then this person who's got 6 is obviously going to be much more useful and credible. And you might also like to use recommendations as a way of putting your details on someone else's profile. So if you recommend them, then when somebody looks at that person's profile, they're actually going to see your details. So it can be a way for you to sort of spread your net and appear on a few other people's profiles. But you might also like to check with that person and say, because I worked with you, what would you like me to focus on in your recommendation? And try and put some keywords in their recommendation as well. And if you want to do the recommendations, just go to linkedin.com/RECS, and it will show how you can both give and receive recommendations from that link. Number 10 is to list your professional memberships in the certification section. So a lot of people assume that unless you're a certified plumber or electrician, you don't have certifications, but you can actually include all your professional memberships. So if you're not already a member of a professional association, I really encourage you to do that. I'm a member of several, and I really value the opportunity to support my industries, and I really value the professional development, and I love having their logo on my profile. So really encourage you to put that in the certification section. When you start typing the name of the organisation, if they've got a company profile, the logo will appear on your LinkedIn profile. And you can put your membership number as your license number, and I've even included my police check, my working with children check, anything else like that people might want to know about you, you can put on there as well. I also like to encourage you to put some bling on your profile. So link to some videos. Even if you don't have your own videos, you can look up something on YouTube, watch it all the way to the end, and if it's related to what your area of expertise is, add that to your LinkedIn profile in the different sections. But please don't put too much bling on your profile because you will look like a try-hard. And there's a few people, you know, one of my clients who just went crazy and put so many images all over and it just looked ridiculous. But, you know, definitely some good quality selected content that perhaps you change every so often is really going to give your profile a little bit more zing. I do not encourage you to include your date of birth or your marital status. Now, I'm an ex-banker, so I don't give out my date of birth. You know, it's not on Facebook, and I actually give my date of birth as the 1st of January 1965. So it's about 6 months older than I really am, but it's not my real date of birth. And I don't believe that my marital status has anything to do with my ability to do my job. But for some clients who want to travel and they're single, I do actually encourage them to put down that they're single, because then the person who's considering them for a position knows they don't have to cart a whole family and 4 dogs and something else as well. It also can be used to discriminate against you. So if somebody doesn't like your star sign and you got the wrong star sign, you know, you might miss out on a job. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but you know, some people have stupid ideas for selecting people for a job. And as I said, it's irrelevant in terms of your ability. The next thing you can do is describe your voluntary experience. So I see voluntary work as a fantastic way to get skills, fantastic way to build your network, fantastic way to enjoy life, because you know, you get to work with people, you do fun things, and I really love voluntary work. But if your voluntary experience is related to your career, you can actually include it in your professional experience section. And even if you're not working now, but you're doing voluntary work, again, you can put that in your experience section. And you don't have to say it was voluntary, because most employers prefer somebody who's already working and moving to a new job rather than somebody who's not currently working and has to find a job. So even if you're just doing something voluntary for a professional association or something like that, please really encourage you to put it in your experience section. I did that for my association with the Australian Human Resources Institute, but then I've also been involved in Scouts. Now, I didn't put the Scout stuff in my professional experience because, you know, taking kids sailing around Sydney Harbour and cooking sausages on barbecues, you know, doesn't really relate to my professional career. So I've put that section just in my voluntary experience section on LinkedIn. You also can list the memberships that you've got in the organisations section. So you can include all of your past memberships. So even if you were just a member whilst you were at uni in a student organisation, you can still list those. And even though it's not current anymore, it can still appear on your profile. You can also detail any roles. So if you've been the president or the secretary or the treasurer or something like that, that looks really great. And you can also include dates. You can include hyperlinks. So it gives a bit of promotion to the organisation that you've supported and raises awareness about the type of person you are. A lot of employers don't want to see just academic qualifications, they want to see a well-rounded person. So if you've done some voluntary work, it's really going to help your profile. If English is not your first language, but you're looking for work in Australia, you still need to list English first. And you put in the relevant level of capability you have or proficiency, and then you list all the other languages after that in the order of your ability for each of those languages. I also encourage people to put down the details of their projects. So what we're taught in recruitment is that past behaviour is a predictor of future performance. So if you tell me about a project you've been involved in and the challenges that you overcame and the results that you got, then I've got a pretty good belief that you'll be able to do the same sort of thing again in this new role. So really important to encourage you to, you know, fill in those project details in a similar format. So you describe, give the title of the project, the description of the project, the challenges, the feedback, the outcome, the results, and put that in for each project. Are you already realising it's going to take hours and hours to fill out your LinkedIn profile? I usually say about 10 hours, but it's all worth it, and it's actually a lot of fun to go back over your history and fill it in. And it's very worthwhile. You can also include your personal and professional interests. So in the interests section, I suggest you put all the words related to your professional career. So, you know, if you're in sales, you could say you're interested in sales management and networking, etc. And then you could put in your other interests after that. So football, sports, you know, international movies, whatever. You can do that as well. So that's putting keywords in again. And I also think it's really important for you to put in a little bit of something that makes it sound interesting, you know, a bit more about your personality. But one of my clients was an accountant and he had an interest in poker. And I suggested, I think you should take that off because I don't want an accountant who plays poker and could lose all my money. So, you know, think about skills that are actually related and, you know, like if you're a scientist and you spend all weekends, you know, looking at astrophysics or something, then I'd say, yeah, that really is somebody who loves science. You also, down the bottom, there's a section called Advice for Contacting. And again, repeat your main message that was in your summary and include your contact details, include what sort of work you're looking for. You've got another 2,000 characters there. Make use of them because that is again going to be able to be search engine optimized for you. And always, you know, plant the idea that you welcome contact. In that section, I've also included the fact that my name is often spelt the wrong way, Ellson instead of Ellson. So if somebody's, you know, doing the wrong thing, they're still going to find my profile. And again, put the spaces around your email address so you don't end up with spam coming into your email. You can also follow companies and join groups on LinkedIn. And it's really important if you want to work for a particular organisation that you follow that company on LinkedIn. So for example, the National Australia Bank, they actually favour recruits who are already following the National Australia Bank in their search criteria because they use LinkedIn Recruiter and they can sort candidates by the ones that are already following the organisation. So if you're really targeting a particular industry, get the key players, look at their profiles, follow them, interact with their posts and so on. It's going to make you stand out in front of those decision makers in that organisation. You can target industries, professions, organisations, and it's really good if you can add some value in those locations. So you can like stuff, you can comment on stuff, but please click through and check the links. But if you share it, that's worth extra brownie points. And LinkedIn says, if this person's sharing this kind of content, then they must really be interested in this topic. And again, that's going to help you come up in search results. I also encourage all of my clients to write 3 posts per year. So on LinkedIn, you have an opportunity to write a post and you can do it about any particular topic you're interested in. And something that is, again, keyword focused around what you would like to do in the future is really going to work well for you. Usually a minimum of 300 words. I encourage you to make it either informative, educational, or a little bit entertaining, but not like Facebook. You know, we don't want, you know, latest quotes on how to be happy kind of stuff. It's more related to your professional career. And also you can search engine optimize that content. So you can have headings, you can put videos in, you can put images in, and that can all be related again to your keywords. So I've written an article on professional membership of LinkedIn. It's #1, page 1 of Google's had 15,000 views. So you can actually get your content to be search engine optimized via LinkedIn. So that's my top 20 tips on LinkedIn. If you would like to have access to these slides, the recordings, details of events that I'm running, you're most welcome to contact me. Also on Tuesday morning, I'm running a free LinkedIn for you and your business at RMIT University. In the evening, 6 till 7, LinkedIn for startups and entrepreneurs, which is also a free event. And on the 6th and the 13th of September, I'm running 2-hour workshops in Canterbury, just on working on your LinkedIn profile for a maximum of 5 people, and that includes the 2 books for $70. So you're welcome to come over to the stand at any time and ask me questions. But is there anybody, if you, as I said, if you fill in the form and cut it off, we can put you in a draw to win a digital copy of the book. Are there any questions any of you would like to ask me in front of the whole group? I do sometimes get one, so has anybody got a question? No? All right. Well, thank you for coming to the SpotJobs Career Expo here in Melbourne 2016. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And remember, ask lots of questions because, you know, these people here, they know lots of information. And you might also like to pop over to the Career Development Association of Australia stand because they offer career advice to you as well. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sue. And Sue will be coming down to a stand, which is just down here by us, stand number 12. And any questions you've got with LinkedIn, geez, I've just learned some stuff about my profile that I need to update, so thank you very much. Give her a big round of applause. Thank you.